Welcome to the podcast, where a passion meets purpose and limits are challenged. I'm your host, Eleonora Gendelman. Let's start bending reality. Today, we are talking about a topic that many people in the personal development, coaching, wellness, and creative worlds tend to avoid: sales. For most of my life, I told myself that I didn't like sales. I thought selling was pushy, manipulative, and completely misaligned with the way I wanted to help people. Coming from the yoga world, I was taught that service means giving. Many of us are conditioned to believe that if we truly want to help people, we should do it for free or for very little money. There is often an unspoken belief that spirituality and business do not belong together. For years, I carried that belief. I created programs, experiences, and tools that genuinely helped people transform their lives. But I struggled to talk about them. I struggled to ask for money. Deep down, I didn't feel comfortable selling. Then something shifted. I attended one of Joe Marcoux's classes, and within a single session, my entire perspective changed. I remember sitting there thinking, wow, this makes so much sense. What Joe was teaching wasn't manipulation. It wasn't pressure. It wasn't convincing people to buy something they didn't want. It was about understanding people. It was about curiosity. It was about listening. It was about helping people make decisions that are aligned with what they truly want. And what surprised me most was that it felt completely aligned with the way I coach my own clients. It felt authentic. It felt natural. And honestly, it also was really fun. After that first class, I joined Joe's program and started attending the weekly training sessions. What I discovered was that sales is not some magical talent you're born with. It is a skill that can be learned, practiced, and refined. And more importantly, I realized that selling is something we are all already doing every day. We are selling our ideas. We are selling our visions. We are selling people on joining us, trusting us, following us, hiring us, loving us, and believing in us. The question is not whether we are selling. The question is whether we are doing it consciously and effectively. Today, I want to challenge some of the beliefs many of us have around service, money, business, communication, and what it really means to help people. Because maybe charging for your work is not the opposite of service. Maybe it's what allows you to serve at an even higher level. My guest today is Joe Marcoux, founder of SOS Dojo, communication expert, sales trainer, and someone who has helped thousands of entrepreneurs, coaches, and business owners communicate more effectively and sell with authenticity and integrity. Joe, welcome to Bending Reality.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So on this podcast, we talk about creating life on purpose with the tools we already have within. So how does sales and having the skill of selling, how does it help you to create the life that you truly want?
Wow, loaded question. The way that I look at it, and this may feel uncomfortable for some, life is about sales. And what I mean by that is that we're always selling all the time. We're selling people on ideas, we're selling people on concepts, and we're selling ourselves. We're selling ourselves in terms of where we're headed. And so if I feel strongly about something and yet I'm also afraid at the same time, I have to sell myself on whether I want to move forward or I get sold on not. There's a saying that goes, a sale is made on every call you make. Either you're selling them your stock or they're selling you on the reasons they're not buying it. Either way, a sale is made. So then the question becomes, without being pushy, who's closing the sale? You or them? And it's skills.
Mhm. How did you discover that sales skill would help you in your life? And how did you start your journey, your sales
The
journey?
Yeah, that started off really young. I mean, I did have some sales experience, like, in my early teens. I had a paper route, and I was given the route to, okay, you need to go and deliver the newspapers. And then part of it was knocking on doors of people that weren't newspaper subscribers. I mean, I was a child. So here I am, I'm doing deliveries of newspapers early in the morning or in some. I had two different routes. I had one early morning newspaper, and then I had an afternoon. I preferred the afternoon newspaper because it allowed me to sleep in as a kid, and it made more money. And so, what I mean was, by making more money, I could go knock on doors. And back then, nothing was electronic. So you would provide people a tab, and then they would become a new customer. I'd have to write it down. And then weekly, I would meet the newspaper company manager, and I would let them know, okay, I need extra papers to be able to, and these are the addresses. And then they would organize. It was crazy. I would collect money and I would give the money I mean, I was 13 and I was learning the skill, but I didn't know what I was doing per se. That nobody gave me a script. It was literally knock on the door and, do you want to subscribe to the free press? Over time, you quickly learned you can't just go in and ask for the sale. It was, how are you currently getting your news? How are you
Mhm.
staying up to date? Because there was no internet back then. I mean, I'm dating myself. Then I got into exercise equipment sales, and it was my passion. I wasn't passionate about newspapers when I was a kid. It was just a way for me to be able to make money and save up for guitars and things like that. When I got into exercise equipment, I had a passion for it because I knew I was helping people live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise. And that, Eleonora, that turned around where I needed to learn more on how to sell. And what I learned quickly early on, 18 years old, was sales wasn't just about the skills of what to say. It quickly became, what was I thinking and how was my approach? And I got lucky. I got lucky to be able to learn from some masters early on. And it helped define who I identify as now, as a sales coach, sales trainer. Yeah. And a black belt. Yeah. Made a big
Love
difference.
this. Yeah. So you often say now that highest energy wins.
Yes.
So in my kind of language, I speak about this elevated state
Yes.
where we get into the state and this is the creative state and this is also where we kind of like vibrating at the highest level to align and
Mm.
attract. So what does it mean to you, the highest energy wins, and how does it show up?
So there's a variety of ways to do this. One is setting yourself up for success in terms of physicality. And you already do this as well in your work. The physical body has an effect in terms of how we feel. How we feel will represent itself in terms of what we're doing in a conversation. So that's critical. Changing your state after roughly 90 minutes of sitting down, get up, move around at least 5 minutes. Sometimes it's just get away from the computer, go for a micro walk, come back re-energized, get outside, change the lighting. That's critically important. Getting enough sleep. This is something that you had shared previously with me on my podcast. The amount of sleep that I get it's part of the God's given recipe for rejuvenating our minds and our bodies. Recovery is critical. So I make sure I get plenty of sleep, plenty of water, plenty of time to discipline myself in this process, move my body, and then I surround myself with the people and the conditions that I want to produce. This is something that I learned from Wayne Dyer.
Mm,
I see myself as surrounded by the people and the conditions that I want to produce. If I see myself as surrounded by people that I don't want in my life and all I think about is what I don't want, then I'll keep getting what I don't want. So if I
mhm,
surround myself by, hey, you know what? Right now, I want to be able to get 500 people in for free trials of the dojo, I see myself with 500 people surrounding me, all smiling, all happy, all healthy, and all wanting to be there. And the truth is, I might have a somewhat of a plan, but it's a somewhat of a plan to get there. I really don't know. I have a plan, and yet God laughs at all our plans. So that energy is okay. I'm going to put it into action, and I'm just going to take the steps. And I might fall along the way. That's okay. I'm going to dust myself off, keep going.
Oh, I love this. Do you have some kind of rituals, like if you speak in front of people, if you're on stages? To
Yep.
We are all humans, so sometimes we wake up and we're like, okay, I'm not very in this elevated state. So how can you get yourself, like, is it
Move.
visualization? Is it meditation? Move. Okay,
Yeah,
music.
if I'm off, like it's funny. I will literally, and I'm sitting down right now, so I'll stand up. So I'll stand up and I'll walk away and I'll start clapping my hand and I'll go, yeah, let's go. And I will talk to myself out loud, and I don't care who's home. If I know I'm about to do something, or if I'm backstage at an event, I will walk around, I'll high five a whole bunch of people, or I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll talk to myself. And it's like, okay, we got this. And it's we got this. I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in me that's with me, like God given, God is with me as well. Like there's, if you believe in the trifecta of, you know, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, like there's something within us. And then there's, you know, we're all a part of something that is observing itself, in
Mm-hmm.
my belief. And therefore there's a part of me that I can hear. And then I'm a part of something that's watching me go through this in terms of this discovery. It's awesome. And so it's a choice. That's what free will is. It's this choice. So I'm choosing, and I don't care about how embarrassed I could be. There was a time where I really gave a shit in terms of my language, or oh my gosh, I'm being foolish right now. Listen, if somebody's going to judge me on that, that's their thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I can, if there's something that you can you can walk away with that is powerful, you can get everything you want out of life if you could let go of the idea of being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine not caring. Just, you know what? I'm going to go in because it fills me with joy.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. It does. Does that mean I feel nervous at times? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I feel nervous. Yeah. And that's okay. I'll do it. And then once we get on, for example, the start of this podcast, nerves are gone. Or
Mm-hmm.
I get on stage and and y nobody will see me get on stage. There's nobody in an audience that's going, "Oh, I hope he fails." Like, nobody's thinking that. And yet, what are the stories that go on in our minds? So, yeah, just go out there and play and have fun.
I love this, and it also gives everybody else permission to do the same kind of like crazy. We all have different things. Like I have also like crazy moves
Yeah.
and movements and shouting and things. So this was actually a question. What if, sometimes people are like, "Hey, don't be so loud," or like, quiet. Things like that. So
It
what do you say? What do you think about those people?
You know what? Sometimes it's even family members that love you to bits that will say that. Because I remember being a child, being in the back seat of my grandfather's car, and I love my grandfather to bits, and yet, he had the idea of, children should be seen and not heard, and I was loud and boisterous, or hey, you shouldn't speak so loudly, and the answer to that is, you be you.
Hmm.
What brings you joy? Because in the end, especially as we get older, we can then make decisions in terms of who do we want in our surrounding and who don't we. You must be able to attract who you want in your life, as well as be comfortable with repelling those that you don't. And so it took me a while to learn that lesson. I wish I could have learned that a lot younger, because the trajectory of my life would have been different. And of course, now I'm not complaining with what I have. I have these aspirations of wanting more. And yet, Eleonora, I could tell you truthfully, if I were to die today, I can honestly tell you I've had a fulfilling life. It's been wonderful. And I'm so lucky to be able to do what I do.
I love this. Yes. And I think most people judge who are kind of like afraid of being themselves and
Yeah.
they have their own limitations and you just need to be like, okay, it's just not my person. It's not it's not I need to
Yeah.
explain myself. I need to like be different. I will attract the people that get like my vibe, that
Mhm.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. So, one important part that I noticed out in your training, you speak a lot about emotions. So in my coaching, I teach people to obviously become aware of their emotions, process emotions, and detach themselves from emotions. So this was this aligned with kind of like the way how I coach so much that I was like, wow, is so much about emotion.
It is.
How did you start bringing it into your training, or was it in the beginning you were aware of we are all humans and it's all about emotions?
Yeah, the beginning for me, the way that I was, if we're going to go talking specifically about sales, sales is a transfer of energy, and so the energy and having high energy was something that I've always loved. I've always loved the having the ability to be able to transfer my energy and share it with people and be boisterous and theatrical and whatnot. What I learned, however, was that telling will only get you so far. So you
Mhm.
can have a high level 11, I'll call it a level 11 energy out of a scale of 1 to 10, and you can
Mhm.
repel people when you don't mean to. So in sales, what's the job? The work. Well, the work is to what are the right questions to ask? Yet, how can you ask those questions where you can listen to how someone is feeling? And keep in mind,
Mhm.
I started with fitness, so a lot of people were coming in with a problem and they were feeling like they weren't achieving the look, again, based on
Mhm.
fitness or the performance that so I could transfer my own energy and inspire them to want to purchase. What I learned over time was that wasn't enough. What we need to learn is ask the right questions so that we could understand what someone's motive to action is. So yeah, energy, alignment, inspiration, all still important. Once I learned how to be able to really understand somebody's motive to action, I could
Mhm.
listen to their emotional state. And then based on that, I could help them come to a place where they felt empowered to make a decision. And that's really the key factor. Like in sales, we must come to a place where we accept no as a decision. We also must come to accept that some people will feel resistance. They will, therefore, provide objections. They will say things like, I want to think about it. I'm not
Mhm.
sure. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. I need to speak to my spouse. What kind of deal can you give me? It's not in my budget. These are all things that are based in fear. And so,
Mhm.
if we can help people understand those emotions, we can help them overcome those emotions. And by the way, coming back to our own emotions in that process, because it's back and forth. You're asking me questions, I'm giving you answers. Based on my answers, you can then listen to what I'm feeling as opposed to waiting for your turn to speak. It's a big
Mhm.
difference. Yeah.
Mhm. Interesting. So, next question, I actually asked you this question before, and you have such well-rounded knowledge in many areas, and it is so like you have the skill of connecting to people so easily.
Thank
Like
you.
you're genuinely curious in people and you're a great listener as well. So how did you learn the skill of listening and the skill of being curious consciously, or is it something you're just naturally curious about people and about
That
things?
that that is it's an interesting story because I recall being in high school and being this high energy person, and I was interested in getting a better sense of popularity. I recall asking myself, "What's making this person popular versus this person versus me versus," and it made me reflect on the idea of sometimes being quiet versus always being on.
Mm.
And so I just reflected on that during my high school years. And then I ended up meeting somebody later on in my sales career. This guy was I called him the quiz master.
Mhm.
He asked so many great questions. And what I learned from him was that he had a great network, and everybody would bend over backwards for this guy, not because he would ask them to, but because he was so good at asking questions. And so I observed, and there were other people along the way, and every one of them were great at asking questions. So
Mm.
curiosity was a skill that I
Mhm.
acquired. It was not something that there was a time where it was all about me, 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 and
Mhm.
it was tell, tell, tell. Well, telling's not selling.
Mhm. Mhm.
Once I learned be curious, be interested, and it was really How to Win Friends and Influence People really made a big difference in terms of that book really made a big difference because it was be interested, not interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
The more interested you get, the more interesting you become without forcing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how would you help someone, or what kind of tools could you give someone to become more curious? If somebody is, where should I start? And
It's
also,
yeah.
how would that skill um how would that skill improve this person's life?
Sure. So curiosity is something that it needs to be genuine. I mean, if you're not interested in a certain thing, then it's okay to avoid that. If I'm curious about learning more about not only handstands, but now let's get deeper into like what gets somebody into that? Is it performance in CrossFit or is it something deeper? And then, what's the scoop on yoga and what kind of yoga? And then have you done it yourself? Like, which I have. So it's like, okay, was it Bikram or was it hot yoga? Then for how long? How much weight did you lose during that? How much of it is water? What's your flexibility? Like all these things makes to me, it's the curiosity of it is how does it align with my life in that? So it's
Mm.
not just, if it's a topic that doesn't make you curious, then obviously you can find areas of alignment because we're human beings.
Mhm.
We're all part of this greater thing that we're all a part of. Like there's no doubt we're all connected.
Mhm.
So you're going through your experience, and I'm not sure if this is age or if this is just a question of more thinking and meditation on my part that gets me to go, I just want to know more about you and I want to know more about them. And so the more I learn, the more things sit in the memory bank so that when somebody brings something up, now the key is instead of saying, oh, I've done that and making it all about me, which is ego,
Mhm.
it's more of when you ask a question, it proves that you know what you're talking about. And it's a
Mhm.
subtle way to be able to keep learning and be interested, which helps in sales, by the way. It also helps in relationship. And all of this comes back to it's all about relationships. It's all of it. Like sales is about relationship, business is about relationships, life it's about relationships. So think of even questions that you could ask somebody that you've had a relationship with for 30 years and
Mhm.
you're still curious. It adds depth as opposed to, "Hi, how are you?
Mhm.
I'm fine."
Mhm.
Like those are, like those repetitive conversations that you've had before. Do you know what fine means?
No.
Effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Okay.
Right? It's like because you go through now if you got in depth, no joke. Yesterday I hopped on a call with somebody for the first time and the first sentence out of his mouth was, "Joe, tell me something exciting happening in your life for the month of June." I'd never spoken to this guy before. I immediately loved this guy
Mhm. Mhm.
because he's asking me something that was it was a pattern interrupt and it was something that mattered. What's something that's
Yeah.
happening for you that's exciting in your life in the month of June? First time I said hello to this guy? It's awesome.
Yeah. Also, I think if we are curious, it's kind of like going back to the mindset shift of life is happening to you or life is happening for you.
For
It's like
you.
whatever, yes, well, for you and through you. But also
Mm,
whatever is
through.
happening is like, I'm curious, how is it happening for me? So
Right.
how is this? So like this general like curiosity for general for life. Um I feel like can, yeah, definitely shift people's perspectives in a lot of things.
It well, and
Um,
and what it also does is it helps remind for me, I'll own it with an I statement. It helps me own where I'm at right now on my journey. As a, and it's something that thank you for bringing this up because what it does now is that I have to become more cognizant not only when I'm asking other people questions, just to be able to stop and ask myself the
mm,
same questions, the curiosity about me because the relationship that I have with myself is the one that's the most important.
mhm. Yes, agree. With all of yourselves, the past self, the present self, the future self.
Yes. Yeah. The things that I'm doing now affecting my future, the desired outcome that I want, which is and again, there might be some goals that I have. There's reasons behind them, right?
E
So it's like I
emotional reasons, back to emotion.
oh, big time. Yeah, the pride and or the love, like these the reason I want to build up this business, yes, I want to help other people. Selfishly, I want to do it's not selfish. I'm doing it for my children and my grandchildren. Like
Hmm.
all of this, it's for them. It's not for me.
I I love that. So can you, now that you mentioned, tell a little bit more about your business and what you want to build so we know how we can help and, yeah, and spread the word and
Thank
show up.
you. So I have this company called the SOS Dojo. It's a place where people come online and we practice live on Zoom, where we do live what we call live it or live IT. It's interactive training. We do it live because we need to be able to communicate in person. As much as AI is a wonderful tool and you can do a variety of things with it, as human beings, HI is where it's at. And human interaction is what we need to consistently practice. And when people think of sales, they get nervous, they get frustrated, they feel fear. Well, when emotions like that go up, intelligence goes down. So, what we do in the dojo is we practice in such a way where you can casually, authentically, with genuine, true, positive emotion, walk through what we call a 12-step sales process to ultimately get to a place where we're helping people make a decision. And so that's what we do. The SOS Dojo is a place where we practice live, we have lots of fun, we learn, and we consistently hone the skill of sales so that ultimately people can improve whether it's their business or whether they're working for someone else in their business to be able to make more sales because it's the way that the business world works. We need to be able to generate revenue and or income to be able to have a quality of life. And it helps people with their offers. You're doing that yourself. You're helping
Yes.
people with their physical and their spiritual selves with the offer that people are purchasing from you and you're helping people. So that's what we do. Yeah.
Yes, I love it, and I am a part of this program as well, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and
We
I'm
love
learning
having you there. It's
so
so
much.
much fun
Yeah,
having you there. I
I'm
love it.
learning so much, and the team is amazing, and you really want us to succeed, and the repetitions, it is what it's about. The
Yeah.
consistency and the repetitions, it just becomes who you are, and I was actually yesterday, I was like, is it? I was like, do I, kind of like will I be at some point still need to kind of will I need to think about what I need to ask this person? Like yesterday, I met someone in the gym, and
Mm,
I was kind of like in a not a salesy way, but like interested and excited way to make to like help them make decision. But I was
right.
like, oh, is it who I'm becoming in the process? Actually, now that like through the repetitions, those
Yes.
sentences feel kind of like more natural to ask or to say. So it is interesting. I'm like, it's not, it becomes part of your identity,
You're
whether,
going through the transformative process of developing what's called unconscious competence. So right
mm,
now, because you're learning these skills, you're thinking about it and, oh, I need to eventually it gets to a point where it's just who you are. You become genuine, authentic. You're asking the right questions. You're listening. And then after that, you're able to help someone make a decision. And if the answer is no, you're okay with it. Of
mhm,
course, as you get better with this, what's fun is you get many more yeses. And when you get many more yeses, then it helps you generate more revenue and more income and more impact and have more fun. And it's all win-win.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this. Yes. So now that you mentioned income, what is your definition of money and abundance?
That's so good. So, well, my definition of money is a transfer of energy. Money is energy. And so what we're doing when you make a transaction with someone, when you ask them to give these digits that go into your bank account that come across, or if you're actually getting cash, it's simply a transfer of energy. You're going to give me the energy that you have earned to get the energy that I'm going to give back in the form of skills, and you're going to provide me, whether it's digits or physical cash. Now, what freedom and
Mhm.
or what comes from that, because some people think that you want to retire, and the idea of retirement, not the cost of it, the idea of not working, honestly, I don't want to say I'm afraid of it. I just have no interest of not working because I know I'm here on this existence, in this plane of existence. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to help people get better at this thing that I teach so that they themselves can then continue to do what they do and improve. So freedom for me is, I already have it. I can work from anywhere in the world. I can work from here in my home office in Winnipeg, Canada, or I can work from my cabin on Lake of the Woods, and I can still have a positive effect. I still get to travel. Now I get to travel in luxurious ways. I get to eat, fine foods, and I get to, again, and I have the freedom of choice. So now what I'm growing in is being able to have more of that, more freedom of various choices. And I want to be able to bring my family and my loved ones along the way. And then I want to be able to do more of this in live events.
Mm.
That's all coming. Like, that's time just has to catch up now. I'm
Yeah,
already there. Yeah.
I agree. I will message you something 'cause I just had an idea before, and it's like so aligns anyway where I want to go. But anyway,
Let's
so
go.
let's go. Last question. So I have so many talented friends and clients and students, and from arts industry and fashion and yoga,
Mm,
and who have so much value to offer to the world and to help other people, but have a lot of those limiting beliefs and
yes.
and kind of like afraid of sales. So what would be kind of like a mindset shift or a belief that would help them?
Wow. Yeah, that's a loaded question. So the belief for them is that they have to understand that if you truly believe, here's the thing. If you're I'll ask the question this way. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what level of expert are you? And I'm asking the listener or the viewer of the podcast, your friends right now, the people that you say, your clients, your friends, these very talented people. What level of expert are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Most people and if I said, and announce that to the world right now, say it out loud. What's the number? The world is listening to you right now. What would the number be that you'd say out loud? Most people would stop themselves out of humility and say,
Mm,
well, I'm a 7. I'm an Out loud. Maybe in your mind, you could say yourself, you're an 11, and you would be right. You need to be that
mm,
11. Humility stops people because they go, oh, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to come across as boisterous, or I don't want to be arrogant. It's not arrogant to say that you're an expert at what you do. You could
mhm,
be a level 11 and still have room to grow. I've said a scale of 1 to 10, and most people, their mindset is, well, the scale stops at 10. And what I
mhm,
want to invite you to think about is that the scale doesn't stop at 10. The scale is as big as you want it to be.
mhm,
That's the mindset shift right then and there.
mhm,
Shift the scale, number one. Number two is, on a scale of 1 to 10, right?
mhm,
How good of a communicator are you? Because if your scale is, well, I'm a level 11 expert, and I hate sales, or I'm a level 11 expert and I don't like sales, or I suck at sales, then you're at a 3 or a 4 or less, which means you're making level 3 or 4 money, which means you're making level 3 or 4 impact, which means you don't have level 11 freedom.
Mm.
And you can change that. You can change that. I would give all of your friends and anyone listening the opportunity to come into the dojo for a month, never mind a session. I would give them a full month. If you mention Eleonora, you say, you can email me, joe at sosdojo.com. I will give everyone listening a month, no obligation. You don't have to buy anything afterwards if you don't want to stay. Eleonora's in the program. You don't have to. And here's the reason behind it. The only thing is this. This is my one condition. If your thought process is, well, how much is it after a month? Don't come, because that's scarcity. You're thinking in scarcity. If, however, you're going, wow, I get to come in for a full month, no obligation, I don't spend any money. It's like getting the car, the gas, the maintenance, all of it for free. The answer is yes. And you will start to develop, like what you had said. What's the mindset shift? Let us help you. Come and visit, and you can come with Eleonora at the same time and practice, because that's what people need. My belief is that most people have the right heart set. The majority of this planet, their hearts are in the right place. What's missing is skills which will affect your mind. So the practice of skills starts to bend your reality. And then your mindset will eventually shift because you see that your skills are improving, which means when your skills improve, you improve, and therefore you are an 11.
I love this. This was amazing. And thank you so much, Joe, for your time, for all the insights, for all the tools, which helped me so, so much. And
My
I
pleasure.
am 100% can recommend the program, and I'm super excited what's coming next. And I'm super excited who I will become
You're
with
becoming.
your help
You're a
and
black
your
belt. You're
team.
there.
So yes, super exciting. Thank you so, so much for your time and your energy and your highest energy as always. And yes, check out Joe's podcast that we just recorded before
Yes.
on
It was awesome. Eleonora gave up some great liquid gold. Check out the podcast.
Thank you so much. So thank you everyone for listening, and check out Dojo SOS program, and do not miss out on yourself.
All right.
If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and share with someone who would benefit as well.
Thank you for choosing yourself, doing the work, and creating change. Keep living with purpose.